Hey everyone, I just talked to you about how to direct a client, and in this lesson we're going to talk about how to do a job from beginning to end. So the video that I'm going to discuss today I did a few years ago. It was for Tongue, a designer shirt line. And yeah, I'm just going to take you through the step-by-step process about how this job came to be. So I got this particular job through Studio Now, and they brought it to me and they said, we want you to do this stylized, high fashion brand video. It's less profile and more sort of the ideas and thoughts behind the brand than just a straight up a who, what, when, where, why, how. So to prepare for this job, I looked at prior samples of videos within this line under the Vault brand and really got a sense for sort of what kind of flow, style, ideas were in these videos that I could then use and reference when on site, since this was the first time I was doing it. So I had the call with the client beforehand and sort of just set up what we were going to go over, where we were going to meet, what time worked best, what entrance, etc. Because he didn't have a location and he was filming at a friend's location, and so there were some specifics that I needed to go over. When I got there, I met with him and immediately saw the location was great, had a lot of depth to it, which I realized I could use to have a shallow focus on him. I could put a 50 prime on there, bring the camera back some, really soften the background. And I was also able to use a lot of the light inside the interior to get some higher lights that I necessarily wouldn't have the equipment for. Speaking of equipment, with this one, I brought my basic, obviously camera, batteries, cards, etc., tripod, lav mics, but I also had the slider that I just initially added to my collection, and that helped out immensely. As you'll see, I used it a lot, and it really just gives that extra stylized polish when you're panning across the shirt, or you can do slight push-ins or push-outs. And if I didn't have that, I definitely wouldn't have been able to achieve the look that I did with this video, because I was able to use that in relation to editing slides with the shirts and the different movements, which just really added an extra level to it that's different from maybe a standard business profile. Another thing I did with this video was I wanted 2 camera angles, but I didn't have 2 cameras with me. So I discussed that with the client prior, that yes, we'd be filming the interview, I'd be asking you questions, you'd be looking off talking to me, but I was going to ask you similar questions with a new angle. And I want to make sure he was clear with this so he didn't think that he was done and he could go on, because a lot of these clients are very busy and I have a certain time frame to work within, but a lot of the times these clients have a certain time frame to work within too. And if it's an hour and a half, you have to make sure you get everything in that hour and a half, because they're gone and suddenly you're out of luck. So we did the second angle, and it really helped out to have that there to mix up the look. And only having 1 camera, it wasn't terrible. If you had 2, you could have shot it at the same time, which would have helped out a lot, but that's more of just what you have access to equipment-wise. Overall, I was able to get a lot of cool shots that I liked, and he had a lot of great objects that I was able to film and play with and have a lot of close-ups, which helped with the lens selection. And I really liked how the product turned out. So your to-do list item for this lesson is to complete your project on set.